talk to you, Josh.
Morning, Brett. How are you?
Going very well, thank you. Some big games coming up today. I suppose the talking point of the first 2 days, we've got LA, the Lakers 0-2, and Dallas 0-2.
Yeah, the older teams starting off slow, as a lot of us thought that would be the case. Same thing with the Celtics. They match up with the Heat this morning. They've got a couple of injuries, but look, the big thing with Dallas has been the fact that they've lost their big man Tyson Chandler to the Knicks. That's really affected their defense. That was really their staple from last season, from the championship season.
Yeah, it certainly was. No doubt about that, and they're probably going to struggle without him. What are the teams that are making an impression so far in the first couple of days? I mean, it seems like it's a season where maybe some of the teams that we didn't think in an 82-game season could go the distance might be able to excel in a 66-game season. Yeah,
it's an interesting one. In the shortened season, and similar to what we had in the 99 lockout, you really need a deep team. You really need to be able to go 10-man deep. And teams like Minnesota, teams like Denver yesterday, Denver really towed up Dallas yesterday and showed what young athletic legs can do in these shortened seasons. But I really like the look of Minnesota. They've brought in the number 2 pick in Derek Williams. They finally got Ricky Rubio, the star point guard over from Spain. And they seem to be running an open offense under Adelman and utilising the young legs they've got. They've got a lot of scoring wings as well, and I think they're a good team. They match up against Andrew Bogut's Milwaukee Bucks today, which should be a good one. But look, the problem there really is we're looking at basic teams that just can't really find chemistry early. And Boston match, as I said, Boston-Miami is the big one today. So Miami obviously towed them up in the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see how they can respond and how these older, more experienced teams can respond to the athletic leagues that are coming at them at the moment.
Yeah, it's going to be a demanding season, and obviously not a big turnaround between games. A lot of games in a week, so the older teams are going to have to certainly try and match the younger leagues who are going to be out of the blocks so really early in the season. So we could find some of these older teams, if they don't get in a hurry like the Lakers, it's going to be you haven't got that time to come back and make it up later in the season.
No, certainly not. Look, the Lakers are obviously missing their big man Andrew Bynum, who got suspended for that harsh foul on Barrea in the finals, the Western semi-finals last year. So he'll be out for the first 5 games. They obviously lost Odom for absolutely nothing to Dallas. So they've got Utah lined up today, and this is actually their 3rd game in a row. They opened the season with a back-to-back-to-back, which is a dreaded schedule. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. They are at home today. The Jazz are another young team. So, yeah, look, the Lakers really need to show something today. They weren't too bad against the Bulls in the opening game, but they did actually give up an 11-point lead in the last 3 minutes. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Kobe responds in this one. He has been fantastic so far, so really needs the rest of his team to step up and show something.
Portland and Sacramento, battle of the West Coast teams a little bit later on.
Yeah, look, should be good. Sacramento's another one of those young teams with a deep roster. So Tyreke Evans has been fantastic. DeMarcus Cousins, their big man, looks like he's maturing. He was in foul trouble early yesterday in the matchup against the Lakers. So interesting to see what they can do this year. Them and the Timberwolves are these younger teams. They're question marks, but they really do have a lot of talent on the roster, and very exciting teams to watch as well.
Josh, have we heard any word on Patty Mills and whether he is able to get back to the NBA in that contract situation in China?
Yeah, look, most of the guys in China, I think there's about 4 or 5 big names in China. A lot of them coming from the Denver Nuggets. I know Kenyon Martin's he's back in America. He was watching the Denver game in the stands yesterday. But what they're basically doing is they are sort of locking them in till around about mid-March. So all the guys who are in the Chinese contract can't do anything till about March, which is disappointing because Paddy was starting to play some good ball with the Tigers, but yeah, he really does have an NBA-style game. So really disappointing at the moment, but hope we can get him back there in March. And I think he actually had a look at a couple of Turkish clubs. I'm not 100% sure with that, but obviously with the season starting and whatnot. So yeah, look for those guys in China to be heading across probably around about March if they can get out of those contracts.
And we just mentioned Milwaukee before as we come up to the 8 o'clock news here, but the Bucks, the support cast around Andrew Bogut. Bogut obviously is huge for them, and being the big centre and his presence out on court. But have they got a good enough team that they can improve and maybe really push for the playoffs?
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one. They do have a super point guard in Brandon Jennings, but he still needs a bit of maturing. He's turning the ball over late in games. His shot selection isn't the best, but they're a defensive-minded team. The question is whether they have the cattle to actually be able to play the defense that Coach Scott actually wants them to do. But yeah, I mean, Bogut was fantastic in the first game. They did lose to Charlotte, which is a question mark.
Yep.
A team that most aren't expecting too much from. But look, let's really hope that they can put in some effort today. I do think they're a good home team. They do perform well against teams in front of their home crowd.
We'll wait and see. Good on you, Josh. Good to catch up with you.
Thanks, Brett.
Josh Rutter.